free, you say? Free? Yeah, let me see that. Thomas Williams, formerly corporal in Colonel Molesworth's Welsh Dragoons, having been condemned to death for mutiny, is hereby pardoned by His Most Gracious Majesty, King George the First. Pardoned? And I'm supposed to be grateful, am I? Not that I wasn't grateful when I heard the regiment was being disbanded. It meant farewell to Mansfield and welcome back to the valleys. I'm not saying anything against the place. I've been quartered in worse. But I missed the freedom. Well, Alexander, old lad, I said, won't be long now. Dear old Alexander, the finest gelding a man ever gripped between his thighs. Oh, we'd seen some service together, I can tell you. Soon we'd be riding free through the Rhondda. It was the custom, see. When a regiment of dragoons was disbanded, every man got to keep his horse. Word came the colonel was going to make the announcement the next day, and I hardly slept a wink that night with the excitement. Well, the next morning I was up bright and early, polishing Alexander's harness till it would have dazzled you. It was a raw day even for October. We formed up in the market square, and then the colonel arrived on his grey. He was quite a small man, but in the saddle he looked like a giant. As you know, he said, the Welsh Dragoons have seen good service against the Jacobite rebels. At Sheriff Muir we put the old pretender to flight. England will see no more of James Stewart, thank God. So the services of the Dragoons are no longer required, and the regiment is to be disbanded. Our services no longer required. Well, they required them well enough at Sheriff Muir. There was many a pint of good Welsh blood shed that day. Many a dear friend lost. But that's English gratitude for you. Still, as I say, I was thankful enough to be going back to Wales. Meanwhile, the colonel was still droning on. It has long been a tradition that when a regiment of dragoons is disbanded, each man shall be allowed to keep his horse. Well, we knew that. I could hear men behind me muttering, "Get on with it, man!" But then I sensed there was something wrong with the way he was looking at us. That, as I say, has been the normal practice, he says. However, the army still has urgent need of horses. It has been decided, therefore, that every man shall receive the sum of £30 instead. The regiment is now disbanded. All men will lay down their arms. I turned to Henry Roberts, who was next to me. There was a look in his eyes that said, "We've been betrayed." And so we had. Well, to this day I don't know what happened next. One minute we were sat there in dumbfounded silence, the next we'd drawn up either side of Molesworth, pistols cocked. "Fools!" he roars. "What do you think you're doing?" Well, we'd no answer to that, but at least we weren't alone. Behind us we could hear more pistols being cocked. "Someone ride to Nottingham," bellows the colonel. "Fetch General Wade." A horse neighed, and we heard hoofbeats galloping at full tilt out of the market square. We prayed to God the man would be waylaid by footpads before he could finish his errand. All right, I know it sounds stupid. £30 he'd offered. I bet you don't earn that in a year, nor me. But it was the principle, see? 2 hours later, Wade and his regiment of horse arrived, and Henry and I were on our way down here. Court-martial, then the rope. Alexander'll have a new regiment by now, a new rider, and I hope it's someone who'll treat him well. That's it then. Free. Free to do what? No job, no Alexander, no riding through the valleys and up the mountains. I'd sooner have had the noose after all.